Senator Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. President. We were just asked, who are we trying to protect? I will tell you, and we've said it before, I'll say it again. For the woman who maybe just moved out of her parents' house and is living alone, she is scared to death of a stalker. She is scared to death of violence against her. She is scared to death against violence against her kids. She is told under this legislation, go home and wait. You are defenseless, your stalker, whoever it is who wants to harm you and your family and your kids is after you, and they are probably armed, and they are violent, and probably having a mental breakdown. But go home and wait. That's what this legislation says. The reason I came up here a second time is because we keep hearing, one, about the Nashville shooting yesterday, which was carefully planned evil. It was horrendous evil. The shooter, the killer, the total evildoer in that case carefully planned that for possibly months, and in fact surged school to school to find the one with the weakest security. The STEM school shooting, which was mentioned here today, me and my colleague from Douglas County were there that day and have since become good friends with the parents of the victim. We were there that day and we have followed the trial, and if you follow the trial, you would know that the evil villains who brought guns to school that day spent possibly hours using an axe, using crowbars to break into a safe, to find unloaded firearms, load them, and take them to school. This bill would have done absolutely nothing for that. The absolute travesty, especially for our children, the absolute horrendous sadness about this bill before us today and the others we've seen this year, every single one of them, not one of them passed under the guise of gun violence this year would have stopped the Nashville shooting, the STEM school shooting, the East High, Club Q, Columbine, and yes, the Aurora Theater too. It was just said that not one bill has been brought forward to help reduce gun violence, and that is false. My bills alone that I have brought forward that you have voted on in this chamber, free mental health care and checks for all school-age children in the state of Colorado. We started the iMatter program, which is making a tremendous impact on our communities and culture in schools. We have Safe to Tell, and we're improving Safe to Tell. We just did, and we are continuing to. There is a lot we can do to help our kids, to help our teachers, but leaving them defenseless, that is not a solution. I do understand that the Second Amendment for many in this chamber is a dead letter. And perhaps in the lower chamber, the First Amendment is approaching that status as well, unfortunately. Thankfully, we have decorum here, we have thought, and we allow for debate. Members, I urge us to come together and work on things like school resource officers, training them, equipping them, free mental health checks for our children, so that not one child ever has to think, I am having a break, or I am stressed, and there is no one to talk to. We need to spread word about the iMatter program and improve Safe to Tell. These are things that we can do today. We passed legislation last year that did all these things, in fact, and the funding for them was dramatically cut. That is a tremendous shame, and I hope that is one that we do not repeat this year, especially as Budget Week is upon us. Members, the reason for my no vote today is because there will be a woman out there who is scared to death of her stalker or violence that has been committed against her or her kids, and she is told to go home and wait. That is wrong. Let's pass bills that actually could impact instead of saying we're doing something while leaving our kids defenseless. Thank you, Mr. President.